Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Wilkes University football. They got a brand new coach. His name is Trey Brown. And Trey, I'm sure you're very excited. You are now officially a colonel.
I am very excited. Yeah, absolutely, John. I couldn't be more excited with the challenge ahead and just being a part of the Wilkes family and the Wilkes football family in particular. And I'm excited and hitting the ground running, but I'm pretty pumped up, absolutely.
Trey, when you think back in your lifetime to some leadership opportunities you had, whether, it's sometime during school time, high school or college, tell us about, what Wilkes University saw in you and said, you know what, this is going to be our new leader.
Well, I'm hoping, John, the places I had been and the resume of winning at those places and really the fact that I was surrounded and very fortunate to be around some great head football coaches and some great assistant coaches. And I'll still stick by the fact that I really am who I've been around. I mean, that's really what I'm about. All the way back from Tyrone Willingham at Stanford to Al Bagnoli at Penn and Andy Cohen at Lehigh and Mike Donnelly at Muhlenberg and all the great assistant coaches. I'd like to think that during the interview process or when my references were checked or when Wilkes asked around about, what kind of person is this guy, I'd like to think some of the things that I learned from those great head coaches kind of came off and resonated off. So I'm hoping that leadership popped up with where I've been and the people I've been surrounded around.
Trey Brown here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. We're talking Wilkes University football. Oh, Trey, you're going to hit the ground running. The assistant coaches, they're in place. And of course, you're going to look to see, what direction you're going to go, whether if you need some new staff members or not. But, you got to hit that recruiting trail right now pretty hard to make sure you're getting a great recruiting class in for 2014.
Absolutely. It's amazing. I've been on the phone this week, and John, I've probably had, 20 to 25 conversations with various recruits that have varying levels of interest in Wilkes at this time. And I'm really just trying to get on the phone with them and let them know that, hey, I am the new head football coach. We'd love to have you. Very interested in making you part of the Wilkes family. And I'm just hoping that them getting a call from the head football coach shows a level of commitment that we have in them as student athletes. And the staff has done a wonderful job. They really have, of having some guys out there that not only are quality students, but also very good football players and are very interested in Wilkes. A lot of times when you come on kind of late like I did, the staff can go one of two directions. They can spend the majority of their time trying to find another job, or they can spend the majority of their time trying to help Wilkes get better. And I think for the most part, definitely the majority of the staff is concentrated on trying to make Wilkes better with this recruiting class, which will be a huge recruiting class for us. But it is a busy time, a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversations.
Trey, how about the current team that you have in place and talking to your players? How quickly you're getting together with those guys to tell them what you're all about?
Well, it's interesting. I had a 11 a.m. meeting on Thursday with them. Probably spent about 20 minutes in the gymnasium just reiterating some things that I mentioned during the press conference and just trying to really set the foundation for some relationship building and some expectations. Just trying to give them a little bit of a glimpse of what I'm all about, what I believe in, so on and so forth. And then my hope is they're on spring break this week, and my hope is when they come back for the better part of that following week and maybe even a little bit of the next week, try to grab 10 to 15 minutes with each young man in my office, just chatting a little bit about their thoughts on the Wilkes program, where they're at, what they have to do better, some things that they'd like to see changed or tweaked or done differently. I'm an open-door policy type guy, so I do welcome feedback. There's no doubt about it. I'll make the final decision, but if I can have some feedback to help steer me in the right direction, then I think that's pretty positive. But that's an ongoing thing, John. I mean, that'll be hopefully over time. I'll get to know these guys that much better, and I'm really trying now just to match a name with a face, as you can imagine. I've got a media guy that I'm trying to work through, so I can have more intimate conversations with them as we go forward.
Well, the MAC conference is, always changing. And, of course, you got the new guy out at Misericordia. They have a brand-new program. Coach Ross, great guy. Coach Narr at Kings. They put together a little streak at the end. So there's a nice little rivalry right here in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area with a few teams. And of course, then there's some teams outside the area. And you know what those programs, I'm sure, are about as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the league's a great league. I really do. I've always, from afar, when I was in the Centennial at Muhlenberg College, I always kind of kept an eye on what was going on in the MAC, and I'm familiar with a number of the teams. We played Del Val, I think it was 3 times when I was at Muhlenberg. Obviously very familiar with the Kings program, with Jeff being over there. And I've kind of watched the Misericordia program as well. I think those guys are doing a great job over there. I think those kids are well coached. I think their scheme is very good. So I think the league overall, top to bottom, it's a competitive league. On any given Saturday, one team could beat another, and that's really what you want. That's really what you want. I don't think the top heaviness of the league is ever good. I think you want to go into each Saturday knowing you got a chance to compete for the league title, and hopefully that's where we'll be at some point here.
Trey Brown, what could Colonel fans expect from your team? Offensive-minded kind of guy. Tell us about what are some of the expectations that you have, whether it's on the offensive end or defensive end. I know you're a special teams guy as well, so you've kind of done a little bit of everything, but more concentration on the offensive end.
Yeah, the one thing I can tell you, John, on the offensive end is we are gonna try to play fast, and we are gonna be a no huddle, up tempo type outfit, and we're gonna have a lot of wrinkles off of that. Whether it's some one word stuff to get the ball snapped immediately, whether it's some automatic type plays, whether it's some package plays, whatever it is, or a combination of all 3 of those. We're going to try to play fast. And schematically, I really have to get a grip on where we're at from a personnel standpoint. There's some things I believe in, but if you try to do things that your players aren't capable of doing, I think it's a recipe for disaster. So we got to take a look at what our personnel is like, and if that means we run the ball more than we throw it, we'll do that. If it means we throw it more than we run it, we'll do that as well. So I got to take a look at that. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I want to be aggressive. But I want to be sound. I really do. I don't want to give up the big play, and I really want to emphasize tackling and turnovers. A lot of defenses will emphasize one of those, but I think they're equally important. If you can get to the point of attack and make a tackle in space, I think you can always be okay. And our game is so driven on turnovers that if you make it a priority, I think it can only help you. And then special teams, I want to be creative and I want to be a little bit risky. There are game-changing plays every Saturday and Sunday when you watch college and pro football that happen in the kick game. And I want to be a part of those. I really do. I want to be able to change field position and put a little fear in the opposition. So I'm excited about all 3 facets. We just got to match our personnel, which we will, over time with what scheme we want to run.
Trey Brown here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Well, you're going to meet a whole new family there at Wilkes University, a family of colonels. And Trey, you got your own family, and I'm sure that's going to be encouraging for your whole family now to make the change over to Wilkes University, and everybody now going to be a colonel in your family.
Yeah, it's always in our profession, John. It's always a family effort. It really is. There's a lot of hours required. There's a lot of sacrifice, by the families. And I've been with my wife for the better part of 20 plus years. So she's seen just about everything that can happen in this profession. At least I think she has. And she's been she's been very supportive the whole way. And then, when you have children, a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, it puts a lot of things in perspective as well. I don't know if they always care about who wins and who loses. They just care about seeing Dad out on the field afterwards, and it really puts things in perspective at a job that you work so hard at, and at a job that's really dictated by a couple bounces of the football on a lot of Saturdays.
Well, Trey, we look forward to seeing you in the fall of 2014 with the Wilkes University Colonels. Congratulations on getting the job, and it'd be interesting to see how the spring goes for you, and, of course, look forward to seeing you in the fall. And great talking with you, Trey.
Thanks, John. Always a pleasure talking with you. Welcome to doing it at any time.
Trey Brown, Wilkes University, brand new football coach here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.